respected the Secretary, respected Rotarians, ladies, Mr. Hemant, my DIG, and of course, my colleagues from CEDCO BSF Bangalore. In fact, I didn't know what to speak when I came here, but since I have been asked to speak about BSF, definitely I'll do about it. Before that, I'm very happy and privileged because this Chakrathon, when it started from my campus. The nearby Air Force Station, Yelahanka, close by that, is a beautiful green campus. So on one day, they requested me whether we can start it from there. I said, most welcome, you please come. A number of them were there, including Mr. Vincent, who introduced me, your president, your secretary, and your district governor, and many others were there. I was very happy to be associated, and I flagged off the Chakrathon. And in that, some of my BSF men, including Dr. Garav, he also participated. I'm very happy that he stood first in this event. So speaking about the day on which it commenced, it was very relevant actually, very significant in the history of India. 15th of August 1947 definitely, 15th of August is our Independence Day, and finishing it on 26th of January, the Republic Day, 165 days. Now, the point what I wanted to make was that both the days are very important in the milestone of India, in the history of India. We were out of the clutches of British Raj after about 200 years. That includes 100 years with the company, East India Company, and 100 years, starting with almost 100 years, 1857 up to 1947 with the British Crown. And it continued for another 2.5 years until 1950, because we continued with the constitution that was created by Britishers, the India Government Act, 1935. And 26th of January was a day on which we had our constitution effectively, and we started governing ourselves and declared ourselves India, we the people of India, resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, democratic, secular republic. So the republic is continuing, and it will continue for another 20 years. When I was speaking to my men about 2-3 days back on 26th of January, I was telling that we had another republic in the west that time, of course. Now we have two republics from that one republic. That was Pakistan. Pakistan was east and west then. Now we have one Pakistan in the west and a splitted East Pakistan as Bangladesh today in the east. So both the borders we are covering. So what is the fate of Pakistan? They had 5 constitutions. And all the 5 constitutions failed. Not even a single constitution is standing. And every time a new CMLA means Chief Martial Law Administrator, comes, they have a new constitution. And even when they had some civilian government, in the name of civilian government, most of them got eliminated or hung. Starting with Bhutto, you can see the so-called first democratic government, because the first election they had was in 1970 and 71. Pakistani election, general election. The first general election. They could not hold an election for about 24 years, to be very precise. And in the first election, immediately after that they split into 2. We had Bangladesh in the east and Pakistan in the west. West Pakistan became Pakistan. So I'll cut short because I know that you are all constrained of time. It's history and constitution will go on definitely, and we have a constitution, living constitution, the longest constitution on this planet, the largest constitution on this planet. For 48 articles in 25 parts and 12 schedules. Just imagine that, for 48 articles, giving us everything that is needed for a human being to thrive on this planet. Out of that, for 48 articles, you have how many? 24 articles, fundamental right. And we all speak of fundamental right every time. This is my fundamental right to speak out. This is my fundamental right to stand. This is my fundamental right to have or pursue my faith. We speak of rights only. We never speak of the next part. It comes in the 5th part 5. We don't speak of the fundamental duties. Nobody, none of us. Of course, we just take the name part 5, fundamental right part 5A, and say that we have fundamental duties too. On 26th and 15th we speak of it. 15th of August and 26th of January. Now let me stop it there. A living constitution, one of the finest, fittest constitution, a standing government all through democracy, no martial law administrator could ever think of administering this country by replacing a civil government. No, let me come to BSF, because I have been asked to speak about BSF. He was very true actually. I am very happy that he has asked me to speak about BSF. I have spoken around in Bangalore. This is my second tenure. I was here from 2011 to 2015 commanding one of the training centers here as DIG then. And I had gone around some of the universities, some of the colleges, talking to students, young adults, adolescent, formative years. It's very important to speak to the students because they are the builders of the nation. So I used to speak to them. Whenever I spoke, I found that because people were not knowing much about BSF. And not only BSF, they generally do not understand what the forces do. Why it is? Because you don't have any geographical bonding with any other nation. We say that India, Pakistan is our neighbor in the west, Bangladesh in the east. Of course, Burma also is there, then Afghanistan. So, no, it is only in the map that you see Afghanistan. Otherwise, physically we don't share. Physically we don't share. In the map, it is there. With the POK, we have the POK. If you have to consider that as our part, then we have Afghanistan also as in the northwest. Then we have China, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka. Of course, we have a maritime boundary. So, but you don't have an active boundary with any of the hostile nations. You haven't seen the conflicts, the kind of conflicts that we all see every day. In our life, there is a conflict. There's something written actually. The conflict, the first one. If I am not wrong, it is written, it speaks, the Rotarians, they strive for conflict resolution. It is written there. I was reading it. A fantastic slogan. That is what exactly what we do, but it is in somewhat a different way, not the way that you consider and perceive. We go for conflict resolution differently than what you could even think of and perceive of. Now what BSF do? I'll come to that. You have about 4,200 odd kilometers border, active border. I am referring to the international border in the west. I am not referring to the line of control that we share with Pakistan in the north, or the LOC, line of control, that we share in the shape of McMahon line to the China or other boundaries. 4,200 kilometers active border, the most hostile border on this planet, we got that in the west. We have 4,200 kilometers active border in the east, which share with the Bangladesh, and about 2,200 kilometers borders in the west with Pakistan, international borders. Now, when you talk about borders, an international border is a delineated border. It is a de jure border. That means both the countries, they have delineated, it is signed on the map, and it is accepted by both the governments and internationally acclaimed. It cannot be violated. Even when there is a war and somebody has taken somebody's land. For example, in 1971, we had a lot of land of Pakistan with us. We have gone into Pakistan, we have taken land. Even the BSF also had gone into limited aggressions. We have gone deep into Pakistan, took some land, we occupied it. Our deputy commissioners and the police superintendents were administering in those lands. Then ultimately what we have to pull back when the war is over. But in the line of control, it is give and take, it is exchanged actually. If it is agreed upon, you can give it, you can exchange. That is the difference. So, what we do, if you have to consider the Kutch in the bush, that is southernmost active geographical confine that we guard in the west. Kutch is the largest district in India. It is approximately 45,000 square kilometer area. If you have to understand it, it is larger by about 1.2 times larger than my state Kerala, the neighboring state. Kerala is 39,000 square kilometers. The Kutch border alone is 45,000 square kilometers. It is the largest salt desert on this planet. Salt desert, I don't know how many of you have seen. Some of you, if you have gone to the Kutch border and seen the salt desert, and there is a festival actually. Kutch festival, or the salt desert festival they call it. So if you have seen it, it's beautiful actually, particularly on full moon days in the thick of midwinter. If you go there, or beyond that, early November is the most beautiful time to visit that. And you have all whitish like snow-clad land, whereas it is only salt spread on the surface. So the largest salt desert, you know the effect of it, the consequences of it, where our men, where we guard. Till recently, there was no provision for the potable water. No drinking water used to be there. People used to carry it on the shoulders and they would now ration it out because you have to survive there. And nobody had thought of having a pipeline there, the water there. The water that is available there is all salty. Actually, the complete area is run, it is salty. So you don't get water sufficient. People don't take even bath for days together. And you are staying, and the place where you would stay, barring that winter time, the monsoon and beyond, it is all marshy and swamp. If you walk along, we have lost so many men there. We have lost so many vehicles there. It just get immersed. That is what the salt desert of. I'll just cut short. Then beyond that, it is Rajasthan, the Thar, you have heard about it. Thar desert and all these places. When we speak of Thar or Kutch, we only see the glorification of these things. Jaisalmer festival, the Run festival, which we call. Only festivals we know because we believe in, we understand in celebrations. We don't see the grotesque part of it, the tardy part of it. Rajasthan desert in summertime, if you have to go there, it boils there. 50 degrees Celsius, most of you are, because many of you are speaking science background you have. At 50 degrees Celsius, the water start boiling actually. It is the starting temperature. You can see the fumes coming out. You just put a pot of water there, you would find the steam coming out, the fumes coming out. So that is the place where we got. People, you have to wear everything. You have to wear the complete attire. You cannot say that I will not wear anything, I will put on something very slim, thin, and then go. No, you can't. You have to wear the uniform, whatever it is. It may be the uniform that he is wearing, the disciplinary pattern. When you see the disciplinary pattern, people generally in the south understand that, oh, this is Fauji, this is regular army. It is border security force. We call it camouflage or disciplinary pattern. Why it is banned? Because many places, actually this was meant to camouflage you where you have jungles, but this camouflage pattern has gone to everywhere. Even we started wearing it in deserts. So the desert, we wear it under that 50 degrees Celsius temperature, and you suffer a lot actually. People suffer heat strokes, people suffer so many things, and then the deprivation effect of basic amenities, physiological needs, the deprivation effects of your family, your domestic needs, you are not able to attend that. You don't even get to talk to them. At many places, even today, you have to come back, the man has to come back to the base to make a call to his wife or to children. Many of them go without wishing their wives or children on their anniversaries or maybe birthdays. This is what it is. Punjab is plain for everybody. Punjab is plain, beautiful, lot of vegetations, there are a lot of vegetables and lot of milk, of course. Punjab, one of the times, of course, it was economically the fittest state in India. The most thriving state. Not now, of course. It is into debts now, deep debts. Recently, there was a news about 5-6 years back. They have, in fact, pledged the jail, their central jail, for some money, in fact. That was the kind of situation they had. No, they must be out of it, but deep debt, in fact. Punjab was, once upon a time, a very flourishing state. That was it. Now, the plain is there, but if you see the Punjab, means 5 rivers, you would find Ravi, Satluj, Bias, all those rivers getting inundated, deluge. And deluge is not the kind of deluge that you have seen few years back, but maybe 3-4 years back in Bangalore. The small flood came, of course, it caused serious damage to Bangaloreans. Very sorry for that, but the kind of deluge that we face in Punjab is huge. It comes at 18 to 20 feet up. Where you start today here, you would find 10 feet, 20 feet up. You know how we patrol there during monsoon, let me tell you. These days, we are more advanced than the modern. When I was a company commander, about 25-30 years back, he was also there. Hemant, I think he was in the adjacent sector. So, can you imagine how we patrol when the deluge is? You have to patrol because if you don't do that, that was the Punjab militancy time. You would find hundreds of militants coming in. The men would put a tube, they would put it afloat there up above the surface on a tear or something. You will have it here because oxygen cylinders. Couldn't think of it. You couldn't have so many. Your hundreds of patrols are out one day. You cannot have so many cylinders, something like that. If you put a cylinder on the back of somebody, that man would die of drowning. So he has to float these pipes and take oxygen And as and when when he feels that he cannot no further sustain underneath the water, he comes up. Then he has to be led ladder, because to put himself under the water, you have to put some weight also. So with that weight, suppose the tube goes off, he's down. So there was a time we used to do like that. So Punjab patrolling. And beyond that, Takamur Samba border and further on to the Jammu and Kashmir, I did not touch upon it. The LCI was there, line of control, right at Bandipur, I don't know. You must have heard about it. Srinagar Valley, beautiful of course. People speak of all those gardens. But beyond that, the difficult area starts actually. Valley is nothing where you go and see. You have to go up where the forces patrol, forces do ambushes, forces lay ambushes and do their routines. It's really difficult. The snow goes up to about 15 to 20 feet. And the temperatures goes down to about minus 25, 30 degrees. The post, that is where people were living. And you have to be there, you cannot leave. There is no alternative. Even if you want to run away, you can't. If you start running away from there, you would come across and encounter some avalanche. East is also not much of a difference. It doesn't give much of a succor. You start from Bengal. Bengal, of course, comparatively better as far as the living conditions and, of course, the geography and, of course, the climatic conditions. No tropical climate you come across, but still it is better. But the problem is the population used to be and even today very, very hostile, because they are very hostile to central forces. Lot of courage arise when the government of India, I think it's audible.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
My man and myself was successful in holding it up. So, then when I was there in my formative years, early days in Bengal, then also even today also, people are generally hostile to central forces. They don't consider these forces as forces. And government of India about 2 years back decided that let us have more jurisdiction. From 15 kilometers in Bengal, it was extended to 50 kilometers. You all have heard about it. You have probably read in the newspaper. A lot of hue and cry, not only from the state government and all those apparatus. I am not having anything against anybody. Not that I am from the government of India or central government, I have become a spokesperson. No, nothing. They had a right to speak like that. Maybe the state. But central had a right to have that legislation. Because in the central-state relation, you have various lists. You have a central list, you have a state list, and you also have a concurrent list. And border is basically border policing should be exclusive to the government of India. The security that is to be provided to the border and the border management must rest with the government of India. It decides as to what to do, because when the threat is 16 years, when something is coming from the other part, it is the government of India which is to react and respond. Nobody else would come to your rescue. So, the hostile population, the kind of hostile management that we come across at many places in the east, including West Bengal and beyond even Assam, Meghalaya, you go, Mizoram, wherever we are posted, Tripura, and not to talk of the other tiny places where we are there. So, Border Security Force is doing a 24/7, 365 days yeoman service to the complete population of the country. In one of the speeches that I gave, Gotio, they had global organization for people of Indian origin. They had some function, they wanted me to speak. So there were so many eminent speakers, I also was part of it. And then when I addressed, I said, you must be thinking how your money is secured. People say that we have banks, so you have some bankers with the Rotarians. So we have these things, we have measures taken in place for protecting your money. You may have billions and trillions. You may have anything and everything. Germany was one of the richest, most affluent and most secure and militarily the mightiest country on this planet. Once upon a time, starting with 1935 to almost 1945. Till the time they are conquered to Normandy. Normandy landing, I don't know how many. Another day we'll speak about it, 6th of June, the D-Day, we call it. It is known as D-Day. Even today, whatever operations you do on 6th of, we had an operation here in India also, D-Day, 6th of June. If you remember, Mrs. Gandhi decided to go into the Golden Temples. That was also 6th of June. So we called it, you remember that? It's very easy to remember date. My memory is not very good, but I can remember it like this. So, D-Day 6th of June, 1945, the forces decided, the Allied forces decided to go into Normandy. Normandy is a beach composed of 5 beaches actually. Una, Omega, like that they have 5 beaches. cliff angles. Many of you must have seen in your NL days guns of Navaron, Forsen from Navaron, and where Eagles Days. You have seen that? Yes. It's based on real stories actually. Based on real stories. So Hitler's forces were holding it, France's border with Hitler. He entered France, and France did not even fire one bullet and surrendered. Poland, not even one bullet, surrendered 1st of September 1939. The World War II started. Germany was such a mighty country, but could not sustain after 5-6 years, finished. And what happened with their wealth and everything? Gone, evaporated into thin air. You may create any wealth, you may create any marat, they call it, any kind of a tower, but that is for no good. That is of no good if you are not secured. I was telling those people in the Gopio that your money is secured because we are guarding you. We are there 24/7. I don't know whether I am exceeding my time, 15 minutes, they said. So I said I can go on and on and on. Ms. can speak for about hours together on my force. If you have given this subject, I won't stop because it is very close to my heart. I lived in this force, though it was written as 35 years. I am completing about 38 years service today. I have seen the length and breadth of this country. From east to west, north to south, every part, every inch, this force has given me this opportunity to venture into every state, do what kind of duties, including some internal security duties, most of the elections. I have conducted election in Jharkhand, conducted elections along with my troops, of course, not that a person alone can do anything. I had my own offices, my offices, set of offices, my subordinate offices, my men. I have conducted election in Jharkhand, conducted election in UP, conducted election in Bihar, his own area, Mokama and all. And I have conducted election in Punjab, many places we go. And we were there. We are still there in Odisha and Chhattisgarh, where we call it Red Corridor or whatever you may call it, the LW, left-wing extremist threatened area. BSF is doing a very difficult and arduous job actually. It is a human service. People may think that you are paid well. Of course, government has to pay. You have to survive, you have to eat also. So the pay, how many of you would be ready to sacrifice yourself? You just see, I have seen it, I am telling you. Your boys, even when you want to raid them in, if you are in an operation in Kashmir, I am just telling you, because as a seasoned officer, you can just make a measure and calculate, because this is more than riskier, in the sense that if you take a step ahead, you may get hit. You don't want any of your men. It's not only about you. For a commander, for an officer, it is not about me or himself. It is about his men. Nobody wants to get his men killed actually. So this man would rush. If you stop, he won't stop. He is like an untrained horse at that time, because the kind of passion that is created after the briefing, he goes into operation. Now his commander wants to stop because he knows that the bullets are raining. Even when the bullets are raining, this man would rush. I have seen not only with our forces, it is with most of the forces. Any force worth its salt would do that. And he is doing for a passion. It's not for that money are nothing actually. The salary is nothing. Nobody would sacrifice his life. Unless that man is trained, the kind of training that he gets, the kind of passion that is created in the body and soul, not in the body. The body can be trained. What about your soul? What about your heart? So these things are done through a set of training, and then the men also understand that it is for a cause, and it is worth the training. It is worth the training, and he also knows that the government and his country would take care of his family behind if he loses his life. That is what it is. So a lot of difficulties we encounter. We guard your borders. We guard it 24/7, 365, and we guard it with a lot of pressure. You only see that Wagah border. Many of people in Bangalore want Wagah border. Can we have 10 seats, 20 seats? Of course you can have. We arrange it with a lot of pressure, we arrange it. But you only see the color of it. Of course, a lot of passion is there. That is a ceremonial thing. It's beautiful, of course. It creates a lot of passion. Wonderful parade. Not only Wagah, there is a more beautiful place. Usaini Wala, the parade there is more beautiful than Wagah. People do not know it. Then there is another one that is called Sadiki in Punjab only. So another retreat. These are the places which are ceremonials actually. The actual thing is not like that what you see. The actual thing, nobody is prepared for it. Nobody is prepared for an actual bullet. You would know about it only when it hit you. If one bullet misses, then the people get up. Suppose that doesn't the bullet doesn't miss us and it hits you. You're gone. The other person may take guard, people may be there to rescue, then there may be Medicare that is given. If it hits your vitals, nobody can say, why he was just talking about one person today. He was having care with his wife in 1994 in an operation in Bangalore. We were there. My own batchmate, he was with intelligence. We call an intelligence setup, a very renowned intelligence setup in India that was most listened during peak of Kashmir militancy, BSF intelligence. So this DCG, my batchmate, he got wind of some militants having a meeting in one of the small buildings in there's a village called Malangaon near Bandipur. So if you wait for your force to form up and the briefings and all those things which are required, see, there are two things. One is that you prepare and go. That means you are losing out a lot of time, precious time. Or else you rush in, compromise on these briefings. So this man decided to rush with whatever he had. He had about 12, 15 people immediately. He rushed. This inspector, this number 2 in the operation, he was having kheer with his wife in the morning after breakfast. Because how we know about it? Because his wife had come to, the ladies were sitting, she said to my husband, he was only half ate his breakfast. He was about to have the kheer, then DCG sahab ne bulaya. He called and said that there is an operation. This man goes, the room, the building they surrounded, they were right at the door, the main door, and there is a particular drill to clear the door, rather complete room. If a room is locked, they knock the door, it did not open, then they just put it. In fact, what do you do? These days, after that, we were just cutting it down. To be very frank, we were not using all those drills and all. Because it was very difficult to use the drill, human right and all those things, very, very difficult sometimes. So they just pushed it apart, and the man was about to say, this chap was, this one militant was sitting right at the door with his gun on. This man was wearing a bulletproof jacket, and he pumped the complete magazine, fusillade, into his tummy. And all the 15 hitting. He took 15 bullets, and the complete bullet, the bulletproof, it protects you. When something hits you from front, it repulses. But if it enters, it oscillates within the body. Because you have the bulletproof front armor and back armor, it oscillates. And it oscillated, he was like a sieve. Sieve you have seen? It was like a sieve, his body. And his body came as a sieve. So this lady just imagined that this is not one-off incident. This is not an aberration or an isolated, but it used to happen during the peak days. Now the situation is almost normal. Let me put a Purna Viram, let me put a full stop to my talk. I could have gone on. I am very happy to be here. I am privileged to be here. In fact, I am happy why? Because you started your Chakrathon from my place and you are finishing it with me today. I am rather indebted to you all. Thank you for calling me. And whenever you have something to do, I can be associated, the truth can be associated, you can rely on us, and we have complete force there. CEDCO BSF is a training center. We train operators and the radio operators, basically our head constables, ASIs, SIs. We train them to be better person, more equipped, more modern and advanced people. That is what we do here. And then of course we conduct some advanced courses also. So in case you feel that you need something from us, please do rely on us. Please do remember us. We will be at your disposal. And thank you so very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Kiran.